All right, we're getting ready for tonight's episode. Feel free to share this out in your groups if you can. If we get 100 people, we're going to go ahead and give a fish away. Hey, everyone. That was quick and abrupt, but hello, everyone. Welcome to Tuesday FishTalk Live with Ron Demers. It's the multi-streaming show that is taking social media by storm and jacking the fish-keeping hobby to new levels and blowing up the socials. We're streaming live tonight on Facebook, on Periscope, on Twitch and YouTube. These streams can be found by searching for Ron Cichlids or Ron Demers on your fave streaming platform. When you find the show, make sure you subscribe to our channels. We appreciate all the subs that you give to us. Our mission is to create a live show experience for you, our viewers and Clubhouse group members. And we're adding new segments, sponsors, and prizes every week. And we've got a ton of great stuff for you tonight. If you're looking to talk shop or checking out great fish or amazing tanks, if you're looking to learn more about the hobby, asking your tough questions to our experts, and you want to win some great prizes, this show is for you. And if you're looking to be part of a fast-growing community, a friendly community of fish keepers, and to make some new friends, then you are absolutely in the right space. My name is Dave Gould, and I'm the man in the control room feeding you the vibe and creating this experience. Now let's get ready and start clicking those reactions. So I want to see some reactions. I'll push a couple. Here comes a couple of hearts for you and some plus symbols. Let's get those clicks going so that I can introduce you to your host of Fish Talk Live. Here he is, your host, Mr. Ron Demers. What's going on,
Dave?
Ron?
Thank you. Welcome, everybody. I'm very excited. This is the 4th episode. I've been looking forward to this one. And from the chat, I can see others have been looking forward to it. Tonight, we're going to talk about nutrition, fish food and nutrition. It's something that's I get asked questions on daily, and it's something that's near and dear to my heart. So I'm very excited for tonight's show. I'm glad you're all here. We're going to have some good questions and answers sections, and we're going to have some giveaways. And I look forward to it.
Yeah, absolutely. So check this out, everyone. So we have gamified the experience of winning stuff in the fish hobby, and we have our spin to win wheel where we randomly generate from your input on the chat a number, and from that number we find the person to spin to win. We are hoping that we're going to get people to call in this evening. This is for sure. I mean, that's part of this program, is we wanted it to be a talk show with call-in. So we're hoping for that. But let me tell you something. If you share this program right now, there's a share button. Click that share button into your groups that you manage, into your favorite groups if you're a mod or whatnot. Share it to your personal page. Share it out. If we get 100 people to watch, we're going to skip that whole spin to win. Or maybe we'll still spin to win, but we're going to add another option, and that is to win a large fish, your choice, off of roncichlids.com. So we need to have 100 viewers to do that. And as soon as we hit 100, I'm going to stop the whole show right then, and we're going to just go ahead and do it and give away a fish. So right now I'm looking at it. It's approximately 38. So when we do that, we'll get there. One other thing I wanted to mention is in the streaming world, there's delays. So you all are listening to this in the past, our past, about 90 seconds. And so there's also delays within the time your app, especially if you're on your phone, that you get into the spin to the win. So there was a question last week. It was like, well, hey, on my phone, it looked like I was number 3. When in all actuality, yes, your phone records you in the chat at a different time, but we're going to use a master, and that's from Ron Cichlids' business page. So if there's any discrepancy, we're always going to refer back to Ron Sickled's business page, whatever that order is on that chat. That's how we're going to do it. So I wanted to clarify all that. So let's give some shout outs, Ron. Who are we seeing online right now?
Seeing my wife. She's watching apparently.
Awesome.
Ulysses, Eduardo, my boy Tim.
I see Chad on there and Rob Kinsey. What's up, Rob?
Chad, Greg and TJ are two new moderators, very good friends of mine. Ron's on there. Ron just got some new fish today.
Nice.
Pedro's on there. He just got some new fish today.
Nice. I saw Fred from Las Vegas Cichlids is on. That was awesome.
He is?
Yeah, awesome.
Didn't see that. Awesome. Welcome.
That was early on. And I can backspace here.
Hey, Gabriel. Jacob's there.
James Miller, Alan Menesau. Obviously, our mods are on. You got Kimberly. What's up, Kimberly? So we have a bunch of new mods, or you do, Ron. I mean, this is your show. This is your deal. But as far as helping out with the social media, so you have Nathan Pate, and I hope I say your last name, Nathan. If I don't, send me a message. Isaac Garcia is still with us out in California. You've got Greg Hayes now and TJ Stetler. Did I get that right? And then also I wanted to give a big shout out because he's actually doing an awesome job. Now, how many of you out there know Twitch? Let's see. You guys ever watch any Twitch? Gamers Online doing the Twitch thing. We've got Garrett Brewer from Gulfport, Mississippi that's helping us out on Twitch. So that's cool. Yeah. Did you check out the YouTube stream from last week, Ron?
Yes, I did. I watched the majority of it. Pretty good. Turned out pretty good.
Yeah, the YouTube uses higher streaming levels, so it will look better. So you can get that 1080 on YouTube. I thought it looked great. So let me just show a couple of things here. So we're still trying to push 100. We're at 61. We went to 66 for a second. I'm going to show you here how to turn on notifications. I love the little Frontosa. So you're looking at this screen here, and you see the little bell right here. That little bell, if you click that every Sunday or Tuesday when we go live, you will get a message that we're going live. So do that. Put yourself in full screen. I know there's several of you out there right now that are watching this with a projector on a big screen. So that's pretty cool as well. Let me come bring Ron back here. Yeah. So how this thing's been going really well, Ron.
It has.
Did you see the numbers?
It's crazy.
Yeah.
It kind of gets me a little choked up because this was all weird to me at first, and people ask me lots of questions on a daily basis, and I do this off camera, candidly, and now I'm doing it in front of a microphone and a camera, and it still seems funny, odd, weird, but I love it. I mean, the outpouring of people that are my customers or friends that say, "Hey, I watched you last week. It was awesome. Thank you."
Yeah.
As you all know, my passion for this and you guys are what drives me to continue to do it. So I want to say thank you again. I can't say thank you enough. You guys have pushed me into this basically, and I love it. It's fun.
Yeah. So let me give those numbers out. So the first week, I think we had somewhere around 2,000 viewers, which is great for a debut. The second week was the Insanity one. Our reach was over 20,000 people. So the option to watch the show was in front of 20,000, and from that 20,000, 5,600 people watched this show. That's that second week. Last week it kind of curtailed a little bit, which is always, when you launch a new show, there's always ups and downs, and by the time it takes hold, everybody that's watching right now, you can consider yourself under the term of early adopter, right? You're an early adopter. Early adopters are usually the ones that are the movers and shakers in the business or the hobby or whatnot, and so you guys can recognize the value and all that. Last week, I think it was 3,500 or something. So it's been going good. We still have this really awesome announcement that we're not going to tell you because we can't tell you yet. But there's something in the works that is going to take this whole show to a new level, and you're all going to go, "Whoa, this is crazy!" But so that's kind of how we're at. Rebecca's chiming in here that we have 70 people. I show 67 on right now. If we get 100, if we can get 100 people on here, we're going to give away a fish. We're not waiting for that right now. We're just kind of, shooting the shit, so to say. Let's finish out some of our mentions, Ron. You want to, let's see, we did the live notifications, go full screen, share and like.
We reached 1,000 members last week on the Cichlid Clubhouse.
Yeah.
I am still going to do a raffle, so y'all bear with me. My apologies, but life has been busy lately. You can check us out on the YouTube channel. Like we said earlier, it is streaming now. And then you have all the social Clubhouse social groups. You have the main group, the Clubhouse, Mabuna Hangout, which is starting to get a little more popular. The Lake Tanganyika Clubhouse, the DIY, the Cichlid, the New World Cichlid Hangout, and then the Amazing Tank Showcase, which is one of my favorites. I like seeing all those tanks that I can't afford.
Yeah, I love that. I love it too. I go out my way and go search for them. I'm gonna put some cool content on here. And then we also have the New World Cichlid Hangout. Even though the core of your fan base, Ron, as far as coming from your business page, mostly African cichlids or people that show a lot of interest in African cichlids, but getting to know you, and I remember the story when we were doing your website, and I was asking about who you are. You were saying that you kept Southeast as well.
I did. I kept South Americans and Central Americans. That's how I kind of cut my teeth on this. I always liked the big personable fish. I had saltwater tanks, big groupers and lionfish and sharks and things like that. And I like big personable fish. And South Americans and Central Americans are big personable fish. I've had Oscars, I've had Jack Dempsey's, I've had Texas cichlids, I've had red devils, I've had just about everything. I've bred some very, very rare species. It's just I kind of migrated out of them just because of how aggressive they are. Don't get me wrong, Africans can be aggressive, but you put a couple Jack Dempsey males together and someone's going to kick someone's ass.
Oh yeah,
I kind of outgrew them, unfortunately. Yeah. I mean, I still love them. I also have the luxury of seeing these fish in South Florida in their non-native habitat. Yeah. So I can go fishing and catch an Oscar if I wanted to.
Yeah. You were telling me about that. And I feel bad for that. I mean, introducing those species. I know earlier today I actually took some time, about 10 minutes. I have a 50-gallon acrylic that's got Southies in it, a bunch of fish, and so I just spent some time with those fish today. I still get a kick out of that parrotfish, man.
I know. When I first saw them, I thought they were an abomination to the world.
Yeah.
But you know what? The more I got to see them, they grew on me. They're cute. I'm sorry. Y'all can bash me if you want, but I know they're goofy, man-made abominations. But look at them. I mean, they're just, you can't not fall in love with that cute little face of theirs.
I know. The niece and nephews named him Mr. Smiley. Where's Mr. Smiley? All right, so I'm going to push it along here a little bit. Before we do that, I just want to give a big shout out to those mods that we were talking about. Here's some of the new mods. So these are the Facebook profiles of who is working with the Ron Cichlids Clubhouse, and we just wanted to give them a shout out and appreciate them a little bit.
Yes, thank you.
So these are your mods. And today's episode. Okay, Okay, so we're going to go ahead and jump into the topic like Ron mentioned before. Ron spent this last week getting all his notes together to give you guys a great lesson about nutrition. So I'm going to turn it over to you, Ron.
Thank you, Dave.
Yeah.
Um, this is a question I get asked a lot. Food, nutrition. Um, right off the bat, you need to know that water quality and nutrition are probably the two biggest aspects for you to take care of any of your aquatic friends in captivity. Um, there's a lot of different types of fish. We're going to mainly be focusing on the African cichlids. That's kind of my thing. African cichlids are probably the most specialized feeders on the face of the planet. You have so many diverse types of fish in the lake that eat different things. You know, you have herbivores that eat algae and vegetable matter. You've got omnivores. You've got carnivores. But you can't necessarily look at what they eat in their native habitat because now they're in a confined location. They're in a tank. So um, some of you may or may not know what we call gut loading. So we're going to talk about that in a little while. Um, about 4 or 5 years ago, I came up with my own food for a reason. You know, this show is not about my food. It's about nutrition. It's because we all enjoy variety in our life. If you eat the same thing every day, hot dogs every day, sure, you could survive, but there's a difference between surviving and thriving. Remember those two. For any of you who like reality TV, Survivor is surviving, not thriving, it's surviving. Those people are surviving. If they were in that normal predicament, they would waste away. So, in captivity, you're going to want a food that has a well rounded diet. So, let's break it down to herbivores. The common misconception on herbivores is they need just a vegetable based diet. And that's not true. In the native habitat, they are scavengers as well, and they need protein. All fish need protein. Protein is the building blocks of growth, metabolism, and health. So, protein is the first thing we're going to talk about today. Um, so, when you're looking at your different types of foods and your options, pay attention to the proteins. That will set aside good food versus mediocre food. Um, Protein is what allows fish to grow. It allows faster metabolism. If any of you have ever been on a diet, you know that the protein, keeping out the carbohydrates, keeping out all the other crap, is what's going to make you lean and mean. Same thing with fish. So, um, krill, salmon, squid, earthworms. Earthworms are a great protein. They're just a little on the expensive side. Um, when you're looking at a food, it can be whole or it can be meal. Try to choose your proteins. Uh, Try to choose a food that has a good list of proteins. Um, Second thing we need to touch on is vegetable matter, vegetables and fruits. I'm going to kind of be all over the place because I'm going to just talk from the heart today. So bear with the pauses and stuff while I go from conversation to conversation. Um, for me, um, for a healthy digestive system for fish, you need to have vegetable matter in there. You need to have some fruits. You need to have veggies. You need to have algae. You need to have things that help cleanse, kind of help roughage, so to speak. So it's a very, very important aspect of it, even for carnivores. So let's say you've got a big Malawi hawk, or you've got an Oscar, or you've got anything that eats other fish, and you're like, well, my fish is a carnivore, it just eats meat. Well, what you don't understand is in Mother Nature, that fish is eating a fish that ate algae all day long for its entire life. That's what we're calling gut loading. For any of you that have lizards or snakes or amphibians, you know that if you feed the insects food that you want in their system to get to your snake, your frog, your lizard, that's called gut loading. So in nature, this predator is eating a fish that ate a whole bunch of vegetables for its entire life. So inadvertently, it's part of its diet. That's not happening in a closed system if you just decide, I'm going to feed my Oscar or I'm going to feed my predator whole shrimp every day. They're not getting that aspect of it. Um, so even your carnivores need vegetable matter, and even your herbivores need protein matter. For most of your herbivores, somewhere around 40% is ideal. 40% protein. Carnivores, 50%. Um, and then you have, different size fish, juveniles and fry. You'll notice that on juvenile food, it has a higher protein. Just like your children or your kids, you have them on a higher protein diet or supplements. They need that higher protein for growth. Um, Fry, even higher, 65% protein. It really, really helps them grow. I feed my baby plecos. I breed bushy nose plecos. I feed them 65% protein. And you're like, what? Pleco is a vegetarian. They only eat algae. BS. They need that protein to grow. Um, and clean water. I mean, most huge facilities that rage fish that are farms. Most of these farms are groundwater farms. You may have heard me say this before. And ultimately, when I retire to my South Carolina house, I will have a groundwater establishment. If you can put a constant new flow of water into the tank, you don't need filtration. So these fish can grow very, very, very quickly on just a normal staple diet. Why? Because they're getting fresh water every day. Very similar to being in a natural environment in, let's say, Lake Malawi, where they're not swimming in their own waste because there's so much water and so much water flow, it dissipates it. So this is why water changes are very important. We talked about this last week, but we'll touch on it again. Is hand in hand, the frequent water changes will definitely help with the aspect of the fish growing with their food. Um, Another very important part of the food is minerals, vitamins and minerals. I tend to err on the side of wanting to make sure my fish's immune system is as good as it possibly can be. Garlic is a great additive. You've got all vitamin A, B, C, thiamine, riboflavin. I mean, I can go all day long on. It may seem weird to us, but because these fish are in captivity, we have to substitute some of the vitamins they may not normally get. Just like when you get older, you got to take a vitamin a day, one a day, same type of thing. Um, and then another thing is color enhancers. And there's several different color enhancers. You all have heard of astaxanthin. Um,
You can say that again.
yeah, I'm not saying that again. Couple
That's
that I
that's your
really
color,
like.
yeah.
That's the red powder. It helps bring out the red. But so many foods concentrate on just that. They fail to realize that that's not where you're going to get your blues, your greens, your yellows from. You're going to get those from things like fruits, vegetables, marigold, paprika, red peppers. I mean, it seems weird that you're looking at something that's like a salad that you'd order at the store, but these are pretty important in their diet when these fish are in captivity. You have to remember you have them in captivity. Um, and
So the
variety.
so the breakdown is you've got your builders, which are your protein that's going to build the fish and the growth in the fish. Then there's the energy aspect of it, and that comes from mostly from the lipids and the fats. And then
And
you
the
have
protein.
and then you have your minerals, which is a lot of times what's in the veggies, right? The veggies deliver a lot of the vitamins and the minerals. Is that correct?
And help with digestion.
Yeah, yeah.
And the one thing that you're going to see, in just about every food, you really can't keep it out, is there's going to be some grains in there, soybean, wheat. These things are used as a binder, and some use a lot of it, and like the cheaper food fillers, and the better foods use just enough to kind of keep it all together. But those are carbohydrates, and carbohydrates just are of no use to fish. It's not good at all. Um, but proteins and veggies, even if they have an excess of them, they just excrete it as waste. Anything that they can't utilize, they just pass out
Mm-hmm.
uh, out of their digestive tract. So it's not a big deal.
So just like human beings, we put a lot of stuff in. Our body takes what it needs and then discards the rest. And the fish have that same process as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So there's some things that are naturally easier to digest than others. So for a lot of fish foods, you want an aquatic type ingredient, meaning you want the fish foods. You don't want animal proteins. Animal proteins like beef heart, bloodworms, things like that aren't animal proteins, meaning they came from an animal, a chicken, a turkey, a cow, something like that. Animal proteins do not get broken down very well at all in African cichlids and a lot of fish. If carnivores like Oscars and arowanas and stuff like that, sure, they could take beef heart and stuff like that. But for African cichlids, they're not designed for that. So
Mm-hmm.
you need an aquatic type ingredient, meaning fish, shrimp, krill, even for the vegetation, algae, seaweed, things that exist in their ecosystem that their bodies have adapted to be able to digest.
Mm-hmm. So, so let's look at like what a really good diet. And I know that also you were explaining this to me just not too long ago about the diet isn't the same. It's not like you have the 2 or 3 tablespoons of food every day or whatnot for your overstocked tank. That it changes it's more of a weekly regime or regiment when you feed your food.
I get asked almost every day, how much do I feed my fish?
Yeah.
There is no scientific equation. What it boils down to is a hungry fish is a healthy fish. Um, just like us, if you start gaining some weight, back off what you're eating. If you're getting a little skinny, eat some more. So the general rule of thumb, especially with Africans, is they're always going to be hungry. I don't care how many times you want to feed them, they look hungry.
Yeah.
Um, I like to feed my fish generally one good sized meal a day for adults, meaning anything 4 inches or bigger. Yeah, you can eat it.
I'm sorry. Did I distract you?
That's all right. I can't tell you tablespoon, half a tablespoon. You have to say how many fish do I have in there? What size are they in? And how often should I feed them? Depends on the time of the day, water filtration, the movement, and how many fish there are. So let's say you've got 30 fish in your 150-gallon aquarium and they're all 4 to 6 inches. Well, all foods aren't created equal. That's something else you have to remember. So if you feed some other type of generic off the shelf pet store type food, a lot of fillers in them. So it's just like that cheap dog food you buy at Walmart for $6 for 50 pounds. It'll fill you up, but it's going to be with you for a while.
Yeah.
So you'll see with a higher quality food that the fish will actually eat more because the ingredients are better utilized by the fish. It increases the metabolism. And as we all know, we wish we were 16 or 18 again. an increased metabolism, you have more energy, feel better, you're just all around, you're better. So let's say you, like you said, you have 30 fish, they're 4 to 6 inches. Maybe 2 tablespoons is what you feed them. Keep an eye on them. If they start getting a little skinny, add a little bit more. I know some people, buddy of mine who's on here now, Tim Malfris. He feeds a lot of food, but he also does water changes 2 or 3 times a week, and the fish grow. I mean, they grow exponential levels. Hence the reason why groundwater farms are so successful. A lot of the Southeast United States, like I said, we have those groundwater farms because it's just a constant water coming out of the ground, going into the tank. Old water goes out. It's always new water. And because of that, you're flushing out the hormones of the other fish, which can slow down growth. You're flushing out their waste, you're flushing out the ammonia, you're flushing out anything that could slow their growth down. Um,
So for most of us that have African cichlids, there, even though there's not a specific, because it really is tank related, what kind of fish, the size of your fish, all of that. But there are some generic guidelines. For instance, twice a day. Some people feed 3 times a day, as it will lower the aggression levels. There's always that give and take, that scaling of, does it work, does it not work? Veggies once a week, and a treat once a week. Let's talk a little bit about the veggies and the treat that you would feed, particularly for African cichlids. We're going to stick mostly to that.
For me, I like feeding zucchini. I just buy zucchini, I peel it, I cut it up. I've showed pictures of it before. I stick it on a fork, drop it in the tank, and my fish love it. Literally, it'll be gone in a few hours. I usually have to put a little extra so the plecos can get to it. That's just a little extra veggies. It's more for the plecos, but the Africans love it. With a well-rounded, good quality food, you can do that once a week. If there's a lot of supplements out there, and I've tried I got a whole bunch of supplements, and I did an experiment where I added a lot of these different supplements to my food for about 3 months to see if I saw a difference, and I saw no difference. Um, I guess that's because the food that I was using already had everything it needed in there, and I was just overkill.
So zucchini is one. Name some other ones like cucumbers.
There's a lot of people out there that like peas or squash. I'm not a fan of peas, but
and
I like a little here.
And that's because you have to take the skins off, right?
Yeah, it's just a lot more work. Zucchini is easy. You don't need to blanch it, boil it, steam it, nothing. It's out of all of the veggies, it's the easiest. The smallest seeds. Cucumber has bigger seeds, and I always worry that the fish are going to eat a seed and choke on it. So for me, I like zucchini.
I take the seeds out of my cucumbers. I find that, and particularly my Mbuna, love watermelon. I mean, they just go insane for watermelon. Any kinds of melons. I put all kinds: green melons, orange melons, red melons. I was looking at something last night. I do my research as well. Before the show, I'd like to kind of get up to speed on some things. Someone was talking about lettuce, and I don't know if they were, for any particular fish breed, but they were saying lettuce, and they were saying that it's easier for the fish to digest if you either freeze it or you boil it. I was like, okay. So,
romaine lettuce is by far one of the healthiest ones. And when I had saltwater aquariums and reefs, we used to put it on a veggie clip and then stick it on the inside of the aquarium. I've migrated away from a lot of different types of veggies, and I stick with zucchini. The fish love it. It's easy to work with. I don't need to do really anything to prepare it. I don't even need to take out the seeds. But there's a lot of them out there. Different types of squash works really, really well. Just stay away from the fibrous things like I've even heard eggplant, but eggplant costs too much money to be feeding fish on a normal basis.
Mm-hmm.
Stay away from things like celery, asparagus, anything fibrous, because this is very difficult for them to break it down. Regardless of the health aspects of it, it's too tough for them to break down.
So let's talk about a little bit about the treats. I know in my South American take, I usually use Oreos, but
yeah, whole or they double stuffed?
Double stuffed. But anyhow, no. Let's talk a little bit about treats. I know that some of our more carnivore, the haps and peacocks, can handle some bloodworms and things like that. So talk about the treat part, especially the protein treat.
I've got a freezer full dedicated to that of krill, mysis, brine shrimp. I've got a little bit of clams and some other stuff, but the three big ones for me are krill, whole krill, Antarctic krill, mysis shrimp. They're not all created equal. PE mysis are the best, most expensive ones, but they've got a jumbo and a regular. Mysis shrimp is high in fat, which is good for the fish, but just feed it once in a while. And then you've got, of course, brine shrimp. You have to understand that a lot of these that are frozen, they're not as good as fresh. So you are going to lose probably 60 to 70% of the nutritional value. But just be careful. If you start feeding krill, they get very gluttonous, and they may put so much in their mouth that they can't close their mouth.
Bloodworm is one that I hear too, that you don't give any bloodworms to Mbuna, and it's definitely not the heart. So I was trying to get to the point like, well, here's some things you don't want to get. It's almost like we're asking people to experiment,
bloodworms are okay, but they have to be in moderation. I know we hear about this stuff in our life. I mean, I would drink 4 gallons of Cuban coffee a day if I knew my liver wasn't going to shut down, It's just moderation.
Coffee? What are you talking about? Coffee. Tequila.
Yeah. The bloodworms are okay once a month, once every 2 or 3 weeks. Moderation. They'll love it. They'll tear it up. But it's mostly for things like angels and South Americans and like rams and discus.
Oscars, yeah.
That African cichlids. You have to understand something. We got to get it out of the way right now. Is most of the fish that you're getting are not wild caught fish. They are generations of either line breeding or farm raised fish. They have adapted to the environment, the water, and what they're being fed. So Mother Nature has slowly rewired them to accept other foods. Mbuna, straight out of the wild, need lots and lots and lots of veggies. Mbuna that have been farm raised for the last 20 years, they can handle more protein because they're used to it. Their diet has changed. Elephants. There's several continents that have elephants. You have elephants in Africa. You have elephants in India. They look similar, but they're different. It's not like a koala bear where, if they don't eat, they can only eat eucalyptus. Anything else they eat, they'll just starve to death. This is different. You have to realize that a lot of these fish, even Mbuna and Trophis, are more omnivores now than they are really herbivores. They have adapted over generations to accept this type of food.
Yeah.
So if you're going to feed these treats like krill and mysis and brine, do it sparingly, once a week, twice a week at the most. And on the subject, I think everybody should have mysis and brine shrimp in the freezer somewhere. And the reason is we need to touch on this, and this seems like a good time, is I get asked all the time, hey, my fish isn't eating. What do I do? Well, your fish isn't eating probably because it's either stressed out because of some take parameter, bully, new house, something like that. Or there could be something wrong with the fish. Typically, after shipping a fish, sometimes they don't want to eat right away, or they're getting bullied. Some fish that may have eaten for a year, all of a sudden decides it doesn't want to eat anymore. Just like when you're not in a good mood, you're pouty and you don't want anybody to talk to you, and you're not hungry and you're not thirsty, you just want to be left alone. That's how some of these fish are. So keeping these treats, these krill, mesis, preferably mesis and brine because it's small and just about any fish can eat it. If you start introducing that, that usually will basically trigger them to be hungry. And if they're being really, really a pain in the ass about eating, you can actually mix it in with some of the pellets, and that flavor will help drive them to want to eat. So if you notice a fish for a couple of days that isn't wanting to eat, try to supplement something like that into its diet, and it'll usually kickstart them into wanting to eat, and then you can start getting them back on regular food and before it gets too bad.
I got a silly question here, and it will show some of my limited knowledge. You know, as many of you know, I'm not an expert in fish keeping. I'm an expert with Photoshop, but anyhow, do fish smell, Ron? Do they have a sense, like a smelling sense? Like when something's dropped in the water, is there some sort of scent?
Yes. I don't know if there's a sensory organ for it or what, but I can tell you, I'm a fisherman.
Yeah.
Fisherman, I'm a hunter. There's a lot of things I do. I have, you're going to love this, a can of spray that's garlic aerosol. So for those days that the fish are very finicky, I will spray a rubber worm or my lure with garlic. No kidding. And I will tell you, hands down, they grab hold of it and they won't let go. They can smell it.
Nice.
Same as sharks. Look at sharks. You know, you want to catch a shark, you go out and you anchor, you throw some blood and dead fish and guts over the side, and you wait. They'll come find you. So that tells you right there that fish can smell.
Yeah.
And a dead fish really smells.
Yeah. So, hey, one of the things that brought us to this point with this one and why Ron is such a good expert is, and he mentioned it, is that he's been creating his own food now for how long you been doing that? 7
Probably
years?
close to 5 years now.
5 years. He's I'm sorry. I was going to say you have a lot of experience of experimenting and observing, and your experience goes into that, understanding like what is working and what is creating the growth. And one of the things I always love hearing from you is that you say that it's two things: it's clean water and good nutrition. So this has been a great episode for that. We're going to go ahead and take a quick break. We're going to go into something else. And when we come back, we're going to open up the chat and we'll answer some questions about tonight. It's such a vast subject that there's no way we can just sit down in a short period of time and cover it all. So this is going to be great to move this into the Ron Demers Cichlid Clubhouse chat. We experimented with that last week, and we'll run it again this evening, where you can just drop into that chat, ask questions. But we are going to do live questions and answers. I wanted to, before we take the break, I wanted to go ahead and say, hey, something really cool is coming up here. All right, so this weekend is Black Friday. Happy Thanksgiving to everybody. Ron is running a Black Friday special from Friday through Cyber Monday. It is buy 4 fish and get 1 for free, so equal size or less. He's also running a 20% off of all food. So if you're looking to stock up on food, this is a good time to do that. And awesome. So this is what we got going on for this week. Okay, everyone. So like we said earlier, one of the things we wanted to do was we wanted to have a call-in section where people can bring their questions. And people were a little timid last week, and we didn't get any calls in. But this is how you do it. If you're in the United States, there's 2 phone numbers there. You call in. It's going to ask you for a meeting ID. You punch in 875-995-2679. And then the password, of course, is one of our favorite songs from the 80s, Oh Jenny Jenny, 8675309. So go ahead and write that down right now if you want to call in. And you'll call in. You'll be in on our conferencing software. You'll be muted at first, and we kind of can talk to you in the behind the scenes there a little bit, but we'll know you by your phone number. So if we call out your last 4 numbers of your phone number, that's you know that you're going to be on with us. So we anticipate some people calling in today. We're going to be right back after the break here and go directly into chat. Okay, as you can see, we do have somebody that's online with us, a very brave person. We'll find out who that is in just one second. Hey, I did want to take just one moment and give a shout out to our friend Daniel Chapman. Daniel Chapman is the moderator for Reef and Marine group that's on Facebook. I'm going to show you some of that. And he's also a food producer. He makes coral. Let me run this here real quick so I can get it right. I hate doing that. Whoops. There we go. Coral Feast. We can turn this music down a little bit. But as you can see, he's running an amazing Ultimate Reef Feast giveaway. They're giving away a bunch of frags. They're giving away food for a whole year for reefs. I told him that we probably do have some people that are in the Marine. So we just wanted to give him a little boost, a little shout out for him and what he's doing on there. So if you're looking for that, here is also the website looks like this. Here it's called Willow Reef. And it's not showing up, of course. Well, thank you very much for that. Okay. Anyway, that's the shout out. Let's go back to our chat now. Here comes Ron and I. Okay. All right, Ron. So we're going to go ahead and take questions in the chat. Bear with us because I've got old man eyes. But I'm going to unmute 443. It's very difficult for me to see on here. 443-377-10313. So let's unmute this. I got to do it on the right window. There we go. All right. So you're live on FishTalk Live. Who is this? What's your name, please?
Hey, Ron. Hey, Dave. This is Randy Tipton from Southern Maryland.
Awesome.
Hey, Randy.
Awesome. Glad to have you on, Randy.
Hey.
How's things going in Maryland?
They're going wonderful. You know, temperature's dropping, but we got this awesome holiday coming around, so some good food on the way, along with what our fish get to eat from wonderful Ron there.
Yeah. Yeah. You got a radio
Somebody
voice.
said not too long ago their fish eat better than they do.
You guys are right about that. I had a few questions I wanted to ask tonight, but to be honest with you, just in watching the show, you guys literally covered every single question I had prepared to ask you guys. I do have one left that I'm kind of interested in wondering if you have any tips for me on how to do. Before I was introduced to your food, Ron, my guys were eating Omega-1 and some Hikari Gold. And I don't mind that, but I have an issue with it's a really floating type food, so most of it will go down my sump or into any surface skimmers or anything like that. Do you have any tips on how to get fish winged off of foods they seem to be addicted to and get them transferred over to foods like yours, or is it more of just let them starve and they'll eventually figure out that the food's where it is?
There's several ways of this. The old school method is to starve them, plain and simple. The whole aspect of floating versus sinking, that's going to take more work. I'll probably touch later on in the show, but the reason why I don't like floating food, too much floating food, is they when they eat that floating food, they can gulp air and get air trapped in their stomach, and fish don't burp or fart, so it's pretty difficult for them to get rid of that air, and it screws up their balance. You can take the new food and pre-soak it. You can mix it. You could realistically mix your other foods in certain quantities with mine. Um, I've recommended this to people quite often. They'll say, "Ron, I've got a fish. He won't eat your food." Why? I said, because your fish has been raised on something else, or vice versa. My fish won't eat your food. So just mix them together, see if that works. If that doesn't work, then you can try, mixing some frozen mesis or brine in with the pellets, just to give it that extra, man, I got to eat this. This stuff smells great. Um, Couple that in with maybe a couple days without feeding them. People think the fish need to eat every day. I feed them every day. Don't get me wrong, but fish can go 4, 5, 6 days without eating. You can go on vacation for a 3-day weekend and not feed them, and they'll be perfectly fine when you get home. So I would try starving them for a couple days. It's not as cruel as you think it is.
Awesome. Does that answer your question,
Sounds like
Randy?
a good plan.
Hey, you got
it absolutely did.
You got a radio voice. You know that, right?
He does.
Oh, thank you. Both of you guys seem to have one going on too.
Randy's got the voice.
Yeah. Thank you so much for calling in, Randy, and we'll see you around the group. And it's good to hear your voice and meet you.
Thanks, Randy. Have a great Thanksgiving, brother.
All right.
Y'all do the same. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Okay. So the next person we have on is 661-400-4915. I suppose I shouldn't be blasting it. But anyway, let's just do that. Hey, how's it going? You're on Fish Talk Live.
Well, hello there, fellas.
What's going on? Up? Who's this?
This is the one and only Isaac.
The one and only
Isaac. What you doing, buddy?
Wow, somebody loves themselves today.
Hey, I just got off of work, so I gotta love myself.
Yeah. How's it going in Cali right now? You the smoke clearing out a little bit for you?
Oh yeah. Oh no, where I'm at, I'm still a little ways from there, about 30 minutes away from that. But everything's under control over here.
Yeah. So appreciate you calling in. You have any questions here about the food aspects of what was going on?
No, pretty much. I was going to ask just about you pretty much answered it, but it's the zucchini. I mean, how much do you think you should put in there, or how what's the best method of cutting it up, or and just holding it down, because it starts floating around and sometimes it becomes a mess.
I got that nailed down for you. Really can't see it. I'm going to see if I can. Bear with me. I'm going to see if I can't help you out here, but. In the tank, very bottom, right there, there's forks, stainless steel forks. All right, so here we go back. So I take the zucchini, I peel it, a whole zucchini. I got a lot of tanks, so I take a whole zucchini, I peel it, and then I cut it into little barrels, and then I take that barrel that's about 2.5 inches, 3 inches long. And then I cut that barrel down the middle through the seeds. take that fork, just take a dedicated fork for doing that, and then I bend the fork. It's got a little bend in it, and I poke the fork into the zucchini, and I toss it in the tank. And the fork will flutter down, and it'll sit on the bottom. Something else I've actually got it outside, is I've taken an old magnet from a glass cleaner, and I'm a pretty handy guy, so I made myself a retriever that's on a piece of plastic string. So I just drop it down in the tank, and when I'm done and the magnet catches the fork, and I just pull it out of the tank. So I mean, I've got lots and lots of fish tanks, so I'll do usually 2 zucchinis to take care of everybody, and then the next day I go through with the magnet and I pull them all out.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for calling in, Isaac. And, we really appreciate you, Isaac, all the work that you do for moderating on Ron's groups and all that.
Thank you.
And just getting
no problem, guys.
Getting to hang out with you and learn more about you. Man, you're an awesome guy. Appreciate you.
Yeah. Thanks.
All righty. So realize that it's difficult sometimes to put that call-in number. It's like people, where's my pen? In scramble mode. But I will figure out another process on that. We kind of want to keep it so that we can, if we need to change the password each week, that we could, if we had to, if we got a heckler or something. But anyway, we'll figure out that. Luckily, we haven't. We've had Randy and Isaac, a bunch of great guys in the fish business. Let's look at some of the questions on the chat. I apologize. One of the things about me, Ron, that I think I've told you about is that I work so much on the computer all the time that my eyes get really fatigued. And so right now I'm looking at the chat and I really can't read any of this stuff. Like, it's very difficult for me to read. So
I haven't seen any questions.
Yeah. So anybody have any questions about food, or should we just, I want to make sure
if you
that
guys got any questions, go ahead and start asking them right now. And I'll, as soon as I see them, I'll answer them.
Yeah. Fish hecklers. They steal our veggie clip. Genius solution. Yes, I use a fork as well. I don't peel my zucchini, but I'm going to start peeling it now.
It works pretty forking amazing.
Does it? Abso-forkin-lutely.
Yeah, man. I started doing that. I'm like, man, I got to reach all the way in this tank and get this damn fork. And I'm like, I went out in the garage and I went into my box of fish tank dead accessories, and I found a glass cleaner, and I got a little eyelet, and I got this rubber string that I use for duck decoys. And I'm like, I'm gonna make something. So I made it, and it was just perfect. It just sinks down and right on top of it, clink, catches it, and I pull it out, I take it out, and I put them all in a pile. I've got probably 20 forks that are just for zucchini.
Okay, so there are some questions coming in, and one of the things we talked about a little bit, Ron, was you have 5 years experience dealing with food, but I'm sure you have a list of food manufacturers that are on your good side, and you probably have a list on your bad side. So one person was asking about Hikari. We don't necessarily want to badmouth or say anything about one. The fact of the matter is that you're going to find good nutrition from multiple places. That's just a given.
Absolutely.
NLS and Hikari and Dainichi and some of those brands work really well for all of that. So, and we didn't want to look like we're shoving Ron's food down your throat. And Ron understands all this. The lady's asking, what do you think about Hikari for feeding? I know I use the big fat ones for my Oscar. He loves those, so go ahead.
I think the best product Hikari makes is like the algae wafers. They're a okay product. But definitely not on the higher end. They're more entry level for new people, and it's an okay food. I mean, like I said, like Dave said, I don't. If everyone's gonna ask me, how is Northfin, how is Omega, how is Dainichi, I don't realistically want to say good, bad, great, awesome. I try to keep negativity out of my life. If you want to private message me and say, hey, what do you think about this? I'll maybe I'll give you a more candid response. But the reality is there's a lot of good foods out there. There's a few great foods, but it's variety. I never found one type of food that met my needs, plain and simple. In this closed environment, weekly water change, great filtration, I never found one type of food that was a staple diet that met my needs. And I'm not just a guy with one or two tanks. I do this for a living. I raise, I breed, I thousands and thousands and thousands of fish. So it's taken me a few years to fine tune what I wanted my fish to eat and to see the benefits of what they're eating. And that's what's gotten me to the ingredient list, the formula that I have for my different size fish.
So someone is asking here, is it okay to is your food safe for all the time and don't switch to other brands for change? Now, I use Ron's food exclusively in my tanks, and not just for Africans. I use it in my Southie tank as well as the Oscar gets the big boy formula. But do I only feed them that? No, there are a couple of other times I feed different things to my fish as well. So, I mean, it's just honest. And Ron understands all that. It's not a matter of like this food or not. But here's the thing: have I bought any other food to do that? No, I'm just still the food that I previously bought. I'll mix it up every so often. And I think Ron covered that pretty well. A rounded diet is really good. But you'll be hard pressed to find as rounded of a one food as Ron's food.
People are asking, and the question's going to come up about variety.
Yeah.
So the reality is if you use type A, type B, type C, type D, because each one brings a little something different to the table, that's fine. But realize I've already done that. I've already figured out 16 or 17 different types of foods that I want my fish to eat. And I've put it all together into one food. So instead of me having to buy a $15 can of this and a $15 can of this and a $15 can of this and have 12 cans of $15, $20 a pound for 8 ounces or a pound food, and to mix it all together or sprinkle together, I already have that in one product. So for me, my fish every day get the same thing. They get whatever formula it is for their size, and they get that. They don't get anything else because the variety is already there. I'm not having to supplement that variety.
Yeah, I think Timothy kind of explained it out real well there. He just says basically keep the water clean, feed it good food, keep your fish hungry, don't overfeed. So
yeah, I mean, and I see questions, what do you think about mixing Northfin and New Life Spectrum and mine together? It's pointless. I don't have a nicer way of saying that. But mixing Northfin and New Life Spectrum to my blend is pointless. It's not going to add anything to whatever I've got on my food. Basically, just about everybody else has certain parts of it. Adding it to it is not going to do anything but just give you more food for maybe more expensive price. I don't know. There's no benefit as far as I can see.
Yeah. And I don't think when I first heard it, I was like, whoa, what's he saying? But you're not saying so much that the other foods have any, if you're already feeding really good, high quality premium food, you don't need to add more premium food on top of it.
Yes.
So, let's go ahead and like last week, we're going to carry this over to the Ron Demers Clubhouse, Cichlid Clubhouse chat afterwards, and feel free to ask any questions. I'll be there. Ron's going to be there. We'll have moderators in there. We'll do that. Y'all know what we're getting ready to do here. I've been watching the numbers. The numbers have been going from high 80 to around 75. Right now we're at 60. So, but if you're on Instagram and Twitter, we've been putting some effort into building Ron's Twitter and Instagrams, particularly Instagram. Instagram's a great platform to deliver slightly different kind of experience. And so here he is. He's available on that. So the member of the week video this week is Don James, and this is kind of a cool video. What do you think, Ron?
Yeah, he's when he originally posted this, he was asking, about, or not asking, but making a statement about aggression.
There they go.
Don's a good customer of mine. He's got a handful of fish for me. But yeah, in the video, you can see that the yellow saffron dragon blood and the other dragon blood do not like each other.
Yeah, going at it. Come on, boys.
All the other fish are like swarming in to check out the chick fight, basically, and
Yeah.
those two don't like each other for sure.
I kind of like those OBs. I have a fondness for those kind of mostly white OBs. Look great. Holy Rock.
Yeah.
Tank's looking awesome, Don. We're going to add you one extra when we go ahead and go for the spin to win. So congratulations on that. I didn't ask you earlier. Are you going out of town this week? Are you having your delivery service available this week or no from Thanksgiving?
I'm leaving tomorrow. Yes, I'm going back to my other house, South Carolina, for the holiday. If anybody needs anything on Wednesday, I could meet them, but we got to make it quick. Driving on Wednesdays before Thanksgiving is a nightmare, and I've got a 7-hour plus drive ahead of me. So if anybody needs anything, let me know. I'll be leaving around 2 p.m. South Florida.
Yeah, I'll take about 13 fish. That's all good. So, okay. So we're going to go and move into find some winners. So what we do is we spin the wheel. Let me just give a shot of what this wheel looks like. And that's the wrong page, but here we go. No problem. There we go. So here is what the wheel looks like. And there's a ton of great prizes on there, everything from free food to free fish, T-shirts and tumblers and percentages off for your next order, things like that. But
free
you'll
back rubs.
Yeah, free yeah. Ron will come to your house for a free back rub, and anyway,
and a water change.
Yeah, and read you a story. Wouldn't that be something? Okay, so as you can see here, there's also one grand prize. Each week we have a grand prize. It's been the last 4 episodes. In this episode, the grand prize is a large fish off of his website. But as you can see here, that there's one in whatever that is. I think it's 1 in 24 chance for that. And that's why we were asking people, share out. Let's get to 100 viewers. 3,500 people are going to watch this over the week's time. But during the live show, if we can get 100 people, we're going to just bypass this and go straight to spin the win. So we have, I'd like to thank Rebecca Dunn, also Kimberly Bosworth, and the other mods for helping getting this process done. The first thing we do is we are going to do the enter to win. So the way that works is I'm going to type in for you to say spin to win. When I type the word spin to win in and you see it in the chat dialogue from me, from Dave Gould, then everybody between that time and the time it closes. So here we go. Get ready for that. I'll have some music that will play. So I'm going to go ahead and get ready to get us going there.
One entry per person, please.
Yeah, please only do this one time because it really messes it up, makes it difficult. I've been looking at rules. I did notice that some other pages, they will disqualify you for that. We haven't got to the disqualification part yet, but if it gets out of hand, I guess we'll have to.
Let's just make it fair for everybody.
Yeah. So here it goes. I just put it in the chat under my name, Dave Gould, type spin. So you start typing the spin right now. We're going to play some music. And when that music's over, then we're going to close it down. It's about 1 minute that we're going to do this. So go ahead and type that word spin in there. Type it one time. We have 63 people on there. Hopefully we'll have 63 people entering. This is the time in which we'd love to give some stuff away. Okay. All right, let's come on back. Okay, here we are. So I'm going to type in there right now, closed. And so everything between the first message and this closed message.
Ulysses put in snip.
Snip. Snip, please. So I see they're still coming in. So let's go ahead and count them all the way through. You must see it faster than I do because I just saw snip pop up. Yeah, and unfortunately, Randy, you can enter in December. So that's what, next week? December 3rd? So, yeah, that's one of the rules. And thank you for pointing that out, Randy. If you win during that month, you're not eligible to win until the following month. That just makes it, again,
Got 25.
more fair. So we're looking at this. We're trying to figure out what's going on. Let's see. I got some messages from early. What's the line of member ID?
I think I'm faster than you are.
I think you are too.
I saw you're closed, and then we just got somebody else that entered after. I had 25 when you said closed.
Let's see. All right, so this is we do have another solution, which we're probably going to bring in.
Yes.
It's an amazing solution. It does all of this automatically and all of that, but we are waiting for a few things, some pieces to come together. You know, we don't want to give you everything. I almost said something dirty, but anyway, so there you go.
Oh, Monty.
Yes, absolutely. So let's go to the random generator. Let's find out what that number is for the spin to win. Let's see. Let me bring this in. All right, so 25 people entered. Is that right? Let's get the official word.
I had 25 when you said closed, and we had one late entry. Let's count him too, which would be 26, which is Jamie.
And then we have Don James.
And then you have the extra for Don.
Yeah, for Don James. So that's 27.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wonder the same thing, Larry. Larry Deskin says 62 people and only 25 say spin. Some people they don't want more fish.
It just increases everybody else's chances of winning.
So Rebecca's saying the same thing. She's got 25, and then we add Don James, and then there was one late person, so that's 27. If I use 27, we'll make Don James number 27, his second one. If he's online right now, but it would be a second one. You see what I'm saying? That freebie at the end there. Exactly. So 27, I'm going to use. You want to really make this crazy and use 54 and everybody's entered twice? Oh my God. That would that mathematically would probably get me fired. Dave? All right, so what happened there? So sorry, let me come back here. Random generator. Okay, so there it is, 27. Y'all ready for this?
Ready for this.
Are you ready? Wait a minute. We forgot to play this music, right? No, I'm just kidding. Here we go. The number that's randomly generated between 1 and 27 is... Wait. I'm getting the message. He did not spin. No, Dave. No. Okay, so we're still good. 27. Rebecca, I'm reading it in the real-time chat, but if you need to get me, just send me a direct message. That's going to be best. So here we go. Ready? Y'all ready? I don't see any reactions. I better throw some reactions in there. Wait.
Do it!
Hold on a second. Number one.
Really? Number one.
That's
not random.
Right. So, no, that is random. I mean, it's random org. It's not random if I hit it again and it comes up number one.
That's Jared.
Jared, are you online, Jared? Please give us a... David, you would have to count. David's asking, how do I know what number I am? You'd have to count from the official page between spin and closed.
Exactly. So the first person that actually typed spin was Jared.
Okay. So, do we want to do this again? Well, we may spin twice.
I'll do another one. What the hell? It's Thanksgiving and
exactly.
It's Black Friday. We're gonna do it again next time. So this is a practice run. Jared is gonna win something, but
we're gonna
need to get on the ball.
We're gonna spin twice. So is it Jared Higuera? Is that right? Is that
Jared Vincent Schmidt?
Oh, I see a Jared Higuera.
Shout out. He is.
Oh, there's too many Jareds. Okay, so you're both disqualified. No, I'm teasing. Okay, so Jared Vincent Schmidt, you are going to spin first. And then we're going to come back, and this is going to be our second spinner here. Number 6. So tell me who that is, and we'll do that.
Clint Phillips.
Okay, Clint Phillips, you'll be the second one. So let's go ahead and pull up our wheel. And here is our wheel. And you will notice here that there's 2 factors in the randomness of this. So, Jared, you're on there, and you can hear us. What I want is a number between 3 and 15, and then another number between 1 and 12. Give us 2 numbers, Jared Vincent. The first number is between 3 and 15, and the next number is between 1 and 12. This helps us randomize the wheel. I can show you right here.
They have to, just for the speed thing in the future, we may just have to ask me, and I'll just give out some.
Yeah, well, we did. I was going to, but we've been doing that, and so that's there. First number, Jared. We'll give him another second because I know.
There you go. 8.
So 8. So that's how many seconds the wheel is going to spin, and then give us a number between 1 and 12. That's the location on the clock. We can use 8 on that.
11.
As well. 11.
You got 11.
Okay, so we're going to apply these changes to the wheel, and now here we are with our new wheel. And what I'm going to do, here's the grand prize. That's your free large fish near show, showing a lot of color, beautiful fish. And you want to be at number 11. Let me spin this wheel around to get you up to number 11. That's roughly about number 11. It's going to spin for 8 seconds. Good luck, Jared. Here we go.
Good luck, Jared.
What is it doing? There we go.
Making me dizzy.
Yeah. 100 cichlid bucks, Jared. Congratulations. So you have to have an account on Ron Cichlid's page in order to redeem those. So hopefully you have that. When you do, I will go ahead and put those 100 cichlid bucks in there. So who's number 6 here?
Clint Phillips.
Clint Phillips. So for the speak of the delay and all that, why don't you give me a number between 3 and 15, Ron? Please.
7.
7. So this will spin for 7 seconds. Dude, I can't hardly read. 7 right there. And we applied that. And give me a number on the clock.
3.
3. All right, so here we go. Good luck, Clint. We want a fish on this one. Come on, big fish. Big fish. Come on, buddy. Nice big red empress. Come on, come on, come on. He might. 300 cichlid bucks. That's pretty good, man. That's immediately $15 off of your first order, whatever that is. So Clint, you need to have an account on ronciclids.com on his shop. I will deposit that in there. That's cash money right there. Yeah, same with our first winner as well. Those apply there. So. Awesome. And we have another, how did you want to do the 1,000-member one? We're going to do that in the group, right?
I need to do that in the group. I need to do a raffle. I may just let it run the entire, I probably need to do it tomorrow before I leave.
Yeah.
Head up. And then just let it run for over the entire holiday weekend. So
yeah, I think
I'll try to do that tomorrow.
And I'm sure it's going to be a fantastic prize. So we did not have a fish of the week, so I just wanted to do the friendly reminder. that there is a Black Friday special going on. It starts on midnight of Friday and runs through midnight on Tuesday. So,
well, not midnight Friday, but midnight Thursday, realistically, because it would be Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Hey, Ron, settle down, buddy. It is midnight Thursday. Midnight on. Oh yeah, you're right. Midnight Friday. My bad. All right, everybody. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for being here, making this show an awesome show. If it wasn't for you, the viewers, the show wouldn't be doing as well as it is. And it's like blowing up. A lot of people are digging the format. They like what they see. We appreciate you. We appreciate everybody that is involved in making this happen. We also, let me say this one last thing, because I haven't said this. I want to be able to shout out other Facebook fish groups. Okay. And so does Ron. We talk a lot about this, that we want to be able to shout out. And there's just so much competition among Facebook fish hobby groups. It's unreal. To me, I'm just like blown away. But we just don't want to be like that. But what we need from you is mutual sharing and all that. So if you've shared this into your Facebook group, then send a message to Ron Sicklitz on his page and tell us that you did. We'll verify it. And when you do, we're going to start shouting out groups. So I did have one shout out for specialty for sharing out tonight, and that's Mike Tuttle with 420 Sicklitz. Thank you so much for doing that.
Mike.
Yeah, Mike, buddy. Great guy, great group. A little different. It is also an 18 and over group as well. So thank you so much for being here. Next week, we are going to be live at 8 p.m. Dude, what's our topic next week, Ron? Do you have that in front of you? I don't.
Sorry, I'm unprepared. I don't remember next week's topic, but I'm sure it's going to be a good one.
Yeah, it's absolutely going to be a great one. So thank you all for being here. Have a wonderful, happy Thanksgiving. I'm going to leave the last part to you, Ron. Say what you want to say.
Happy Thanksgiving to everybody. I'm looking forward to next week's show. I hope you all have a safe and happy and prosperous holiday. Be safe. The roads are crazy. Enjoy your time with your family. If you've got a hankering to treat yourself to some fish or food, like I said, we've got a great sale going on. Thank you for coming. I appreciate all of you very, very much. I can't wait to see you guys again next week. Hey everyone, I just wanted to say I am proud of the time I spent in the United States Navy. This is a great country, made great by the men and women who serve and have served in the United States Armed Forces. From the sacrifices of our fathers and grandparents to those of you who are currently serving on active duty, it is my honor and pleasure to offer a special discount to our veterans. If you are active military or a veteran, please let me know so I can do my part and honor you for your service. You know, I love this country, and it's made great because of the men and women who have served in the armed forces. If you are a veteran and a business owner, check out veteranownedbusiness.com.